Good morning, Joanna. Good morning, Joanna.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Joanna. Good morning, Łukasz. It's so nice to be
Łukasz.
here.
And it's so nice to have you. And it's only logical that after the previous conversation, we now talk about men in care. So we will actually have two women talking about men in care, one man asking you questions from time to time. Men in care, how to reduce barriers for men who want to become involved in caring activities. Joanna Gotfryd, co-founder of the Mamo, Pracuj Foundation, president of the board at the foundation, and Joanna University Hub project manager. Once again, welcome. And let's start with the most natural question we can think of, given the title. What does it mean, men in care? A simple phrase like that.
Maybe I will start. And I was listening to the previous conversation with a great satisfaction because I felt that we are all in the, let's say, in the same movement. Because men in care means not only including men in sharing care responsibilities, but also creating opportunities for women. The European Union Directive on Work and Balance, which we have to adjust the next year, the upcoming year, 2022, gives us 2 months of non-transferable parental leave only for fathers. And we have to find solutions how to adjust the Polish regulations to this directive. And I think it gives us a great context to discuss all the things that are connected to sharing the care, not only in the sense that dad goes to work and mom stays at home and cares for the children. So men in care means more equal labor market, chances for women to come back to the workplace, and for men also more chances and opportunities for well-being and greater balance between work and family life.
You mentioned equal opportunities in the job market, but there are still women who are asked during job interviews, even if it's forbidden, it's not allowed. Women are asked about if they have children, if they plan to have children, or whether they have childcare while they work. And men are never asked any of these questions during job interviews. And in addition to this, the statistics we have in Poland leave no illusions that according to the Social Security Office in Poland, only 1% of men of fathers have taken this advantage of parental leave. We have this parental leave since 2013. It means 99 out of 100 fathers haven't taken this advantage. The responsibility, the statistics are clear and disappointing, but it means these caring activities are on women's.
And I'd like to add that men in care is also. Oh, sorry.
Yes,
I would like just to add that Men in Care is also one of our projects in the Diversity Hub, Men in Care Workplace Support for Caring Masculinities. And in the project, we've conducted comparative research in 7 countries. So we can say that in all these 7 countries, so Spain, Germany, Austria, Norway, Iceland, and Poland, the situation is not maybe the same. The fact is that in Poland is a little bit worse, as Joanna mentioned, that women are overloaded with caring responsibilities. But even in Norway, in all of these countries, the situation is unequal. Even in Norway, where, of course, according to the stereotype and the research, it's best, we have a lot of work to do in this subject.
what you're saying, there are in fact, the statistics you have provided are telling enough. There is legislation coming our way, so to say. It doesn't address the issue. It doesn't address the differences. And of course, as you yourself put it, it's stereotypical to a large extent. One way to call it is, a euphemistic way to call it is traditional roles. We have all heard the term. Now, if I were to ask you another one, and expand on the stereotypical dimension of our conversation, and are these stereotypes to traditional caring roles?
I think that this awareness of sharing the responsibility for children is built both in families and in society. A woman who wants to go back to work after having a child is accused of being bad mother who abandons her baby. When, on the other hand, when she decides to stay at home for several years, she hears that she is lazy and has no ambitions. So no good choice. Men too can hear, if a man decides to stay home with children, he may hear that he has no ambitions and what a man he is. On the other hand, when he continues to work, which is seen as a normal quote mark, a normal situation, that's okay. He's responsible for the family. He earns for the family. So this is very deeply rooted
To be fair,
conviction.
Asha, we are using your extremes here.
Yes,
In that,
yes.
if a woman stays, if a woman wants to go back to work too soon, she can expect such perceptions, and if she stays at home too long, such perceptions tend to come up very often. But the essential point, absolutely right.
But
Asha.
it's very individual situation. What means too soon or too late? So
Exactly.
And I think it's a good moment to mention the economical factor, because in many cases the fact that the gender pay gap exists, there's a reason why women stay at home and they choose not to. And for example, fathers choose not to take the parental leave. So I think that this chance of having more equal labor market due to the regulations maybe will in some years reduce this pay gender gap, which of course is like the situation when the choice affects the family budget less. Because the person who earns less stays at home is somehow obvious. But I'd like also to address something that was said in the previous conversation, the previous meeting, about the organizational culture. In the qualitative research that we've made in our project Men in Care, it was in Poland. It was conducted by Jagiellonian University. We noticed the huge role of the culture of trust, openness, diversity, what was mentioned, and of course, a huge role of an inclusive leader. If the leader is a good role model, let's say it's a leadership by a good example, and carrying responsibilities, sharing caring responsibilities for fathers is something natural in the company, the situation has a tendency to change. So let's support this in the companies. And there was a lot said in this conference about the employees' networks. I'd like to mention also that it's also very important in this subject, the proposition how to reduce the barriers, the conversation, what is needed to more balance the work and the sharing duty and the caring duties. It's also a very important conversation, which is in many cases began by employees networks that support such solutions.
Fair enough.
If I can add something to this stereotype, and related to money. Joanna mentioned the economical issues, but also when we talk to mothers, our beneficiaries of our foundation, they often repeat, and it's very similar. They repeat, it's not worth going back to work because my salary is not enough or just enough to pay a babysitter. And this is very deep conviction that the woman has to earn for the babysitter if she wants to come back to work. And we should all remember that the children aren't just mothers. The childcare expenses should be divided at least mentally by both parents, and then we may reach a conclusion that, oh, it's well worth going back to work if only half of the babysitter salary should be paid from my account, and half of the babysitter salary should be father expense.
It's a very interesting and a very important discussion that has a lot of subtle dimensions to it. I'm sure we will all agree that a hard 50-50 split is not always easy, and it's not always logical either. It can be much individual.
I don't mean exactly 50-50, but in this mental dimension, that it's not only my as mother obligation to pay the babysitter from my salary, and I have to earn for the babysitter, but both parents should think of it as their common obligation.
Actually, to be frank with you, I believe it would be even, we can go as far as saying it would be irrational to believe that one of the sides should be, call it, burdened with the costs more. It's essentially unfair at this mental level, as you're saying. But we've quoted a lot of interesting statistics, initiatives, contexts. Can we find something positive, constructive in this entire men in care debate, please?
Of course.
Maybe I will take it first, because according to our research, which was conducted, as I said, by Jagiellonian University in some companies, and the research was conducted mostly in the companies that have some solutions that encourage men to take the care. And we can see that it's very satisfying for them. That we see many positive comments, and I think that that's positive. That the change that is coming is good for everyone, and that there are some companies that already implemented some solutions. And somehow pandemic in some companies accelerated it because we needed it. And let me mention also that we are preparing the guidelines for the companies, how to reduce barriers and how to implement the solutions to more include men in care. So follow our social media, Diversity Hub, and maybe the website menincare.eu also.
I will share an example from our work, the foundation Mamo, Pracuj, which means Mommy Work If You Want to Foundation, has been running moms-friendly employers database, which gathered best practices from the employers how to support working moms. And we have been running this database since 2015. In 2020, the database changed its name into parent-friendly employers database, and it was the clear message from employers. They made it clear that they want to support both parents equally, both mothers and fathers, in combining family professional life. So I think it gives hope for the future that such initiatives like supporting both parents will grow in the future.
And on the positive note, if you were to give me a brief answer to this question above what we have already said, has the pandemic changed the behavior of men in context of caring roles?
To some extent, yes. It's when
And
both parents
hopefully to some positive extent.
positive, yes. But when both parents had to work from home, having children at home, when the kindergarten schools were closed, it was, according to me, it was inevitable not to share the caring activities.
And I will
So I believe what
mention
I
also.
will focus. Yes.
Can I add
Yes,
that
Joanna, please.
for sure the pandemic made the caring work more visible. So also for employers. So it
Which is
showed that
important.
we need some solutions because the caring work has to be shared, takes time, and usually isn't paid.
And this is important, I believe, because across this, we talk about the importance of ambassadors, whether we call them ambassadors or role models, or actually finding convincing examples and solutions where the things we talk about actually work, look natural, look and feel natural. Of course, this conversation is about stereotypes, traditional roles, undermining the historical male ego in perceiving certain roles. But of course, the future of this conversation is really about how to include men in king roles and what activities and support is possible on the part of the organization itself, the managers, the team, and how does the company that supports performing caring roles by men actually from that? I suppose that will be very much part of the conversation. Sadly, we don't have time to continue along those lines now, so what is left for me is to thank you most kindly for giving us so many interesting, valuable insights to this conversation. Joanna, Mamo, Pracuj.pl, Joanna, Pająk, Diversity Hub. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And see you next year.
See you next year. Now we are having a pre-recorded session, as mentioned earlier, or I should be saying, dear all, we are starting our pre-recorded session, How Networks Help Create an Inclusive Culture in a Global Organization. Enjoy.